Hello everybody. In second class of asynchronous programming, we'll first of all go through an overview that asynchronous programming can be done in three different patterns by implemented using three different patterns: asynchronous program processing model, and event-based asynchronous processing, and task-based asynchronous processing. This is the latest pattern which was introduced in .NET Framework 4.0. This pattern is not preferable nowadays because newest version is more easier compared to older version. Older version was introduced in .NET Framework 2.0 and now we don't prefer it. Asynchronous processing model is used today also. It uses async interface, or we need to implement async interface to use this model. We'll see how normal page cycle happens, or we know how life cycle is executed. That we have got a request for a page from client side. Initially few events are performed like pre-init, init, then load event is performed, then comes load complete, pre-render, pre-render complete, state view, then comes render, and at last response is sent to the client. After rendering it into an HTML format, response is sent to the client. This all things are performed in a single thread. That means they are executed one after the another. But if we want to implement it asynchronously, then we can divide our synchronous execution into two threads. First thread will get request from client and it will perform up to pre-render. State of the machine or context of the current processing will be sent via async result to second thread. Pre-render complete, save view state, then rendering process will be performed in second thread, and then it will be sent to the client. So here we are dividing into two separate processes, threads, and these two threads are part of same process. They use same resources, but they execute it parallelly. This kind of execution is possible if load complete and pre-render complete are to be performed independently without interacting with each other. Choosing synchronous method over asynchronous method, where we should prefer synchronous methods, where operations are simple and short, there we should go for always synchronous method. Simplicity is more important than efficiency, and operations are CPU bound. Means so much of CPU operations are required. At that time we should always prefer synchronous process. We should not strive for asynchronous method because it creates more overhead on CPU. Asynchronous methods are preferred when our processors are network bound or CPU bound, sorry, IO bound. Means we are fetching data from remote machines, or some high disk operations are required to fetch or read a data from file or to write a data to a file. Parallelism is more important than simplicity of code because it will reduce time of execution. You want to provide a mechanism to the user that if it is taking so much of time, then user can cancel that operation. At that time also you should prefer asynchronous method. Last point is switching between threads. Now in second slide we had seen, not first, in second slide, yes, that we had divided a page life cycle into two different threads, sorry. Process is something different and thread is something different. A process can have multiple threads within it. Within a single process, multiple threads will be executing parallelly and they will be performing their own task, which is independent of another thread. Or they may be dependent, but as they are sharing resources, data can be easily passed from one thread to another thread. So switching between threads is not that much burdensome compared to context switching. Context switching means switching between two processes. First process sends data to the second process, and then second process can start execution. We already know that within a process there can be multiple threads, and when there is switching between threads, it is known as, yes, it is switching between threads. From one thread it goes to second thread to perform some more task or another task. And if it is between process, whole state of machine should be transferred to second process so that it can understand what it has to do. So in case of switching threads, it is very easy, and at that time also you should prefer synchronous process. For web pages or web forms, if you want to process it asynchronously, then there are two different methods available. That first one is add-on pre-render complete async task, and second is register async task. But before that, we should always add an attribute async equal to true in our page directive. Then only we can process our page asynchronously. If it is not added to our page directive, then it will be executed synchronously only. Now, first method, add-on pre-render complete async. Here we divide our code into two separate operations, beginning portion and ending portion, or second part we can say. First part and second part. First thread and second thread. First thread is executed by begin event handler, and second thread is executed by end event handler. If you have got multiple tasks which should be implemented asynchronously, then we should always prefer register async task method. Here we can specify multiple, or we can register multiple task asynchronous execution for asynchronous execution. But for that we need to declare a task, an object of page async task, which specifies begin data load and end data load. It also allows us to specify timeout async operation. Means if it is not executed within a particular duration, then it should timeout. And last attribute or parameter is boolean, which indicates whether it should be executed parallelly or whether it should allow multiple tasks to be executed asynchronously. Then for all those tasks which should be executed asynchronously, this attribute should be, or this parameter should be true. By default it is false. So what is difference between add-on pre-render complete async and register async task? Register async task allows us to specify timeout in task definition itself, whereas in case of add-on pre-render request, we don't have such kind of facility. But we can also specify timeout, async timeout in page directive. These two attributes are important for asynchronous processing. If we are specifying async timeout in page directive, then all asynchronous processes, if they are not executed within 5 seconds, then it will time out and it will terminate all this asynchronous process. Second difference is between how context is passed from one thread to another thread. Here our page cycle is divided into two separate threads. To pass data between these two threads, we can use HTTP context class object, but in case of add-on pre-render complete async task, this will not work. because if two tasks are performed parallelly and if first thread is assigned to the portion of the page or first thread is working fine, but if you call it on second thread or if you access some data on second thread, then it might return you a null value. Because when add-on pre-rendered complete async is used, ESP does not take extra time to map everything in context object from one thread to another thread. Means all data from one thread is not passed to second thread, or it doesn't make any kind of mapping work. But in case of register async task, it does take some extra time to map contexts between two threads, but make your life easier compared to add-on pre-render complete async task in which data passing from thread 1 to thread 2 is not possible, or it may give you an errors. And last one is most important difference, that add-on pre-render complete async task is used for only making two operations asynchronous, whereas in case of register async task we can have multiple async IO operations, and last argument is boolean value that allows you to specify whether each task can be run in parallel or not. We'll end here.